Did you know that behind those glittering disco balls and platform shoes of 1978, there were anthems of pure resistance? While most people remember disco as just dance music, these 10 songs carried secret messages of empowerment that changed lives and shaped movements, from nightclub anthems that celebrated identity to chart toppers that became battle cries for personal freedom. These aren't just songs you remember, they're the soundtrack to a revolution you might have missed. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. The Le Freak, the anthem born from rejection. New Year's Eve, 1977. Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards were all set for a night at Studio 54. Grace Jones herself had invited them to the hottest club in New York, but when they arrived at the door, the bouncer wouldn't let them in. They walked back to Nile's apartment, fuming. Their anger transformed into something creative as they grabbed their instruments. When they cooled down, they changed those lyrics to Freak Out and created a song that invited everyone to dance, regardless of who they were. That rejection created Le Freak, which became the first song ever to hit #1 on Billboard 3 separate times. What began as exclusion became the ultimate anthem of inclusion. I Will Survive, the ultimate breakup recovery anthem. When Gloria Gaynor stepped into the studio to record I Will Survive in 1978, she was literally wearing a back brace. After falling on stage, she had spinal surgery and was fighting for her physical recovery while singing about emotional survival. The song climbed the charts as DJs and listeners flipped the record over. It became a battle cry for the gay community during the AIDS crisis, for domestic violence survivors, and for anyone facing impossible odds. In 1980, I Will Survive won the only Grammy Award ever given for Best Disco Recording, proving that rejection could transform into strength, just like we saw with Le Freak. Boogie Oogie Oogie, breaking barriers in the music industry. This all-female band broke the mold in 1978 when Boogie Oogie Oogie shot to #1. In an industry where women were expected to just look pretty and sing, these musicians played their own instruments and wrote their own material. The music industry didn't make it easy. Male executives questioned their abilities, and fellow musicians doubted they could actually play. When they sang, "If you're thinking you're too cool to boogie," they weren't just inviting people to dance. They were calling out critics who looked down on disco and women musicians. YMCA, the coded celebration of gay culture. The Village People weren't just a random group of guys in costumes. French producer Jacques Morali specifically assembled them to represent gay male archetypes: the leather-clad biker, the Native American, the construction worker, the cowboy, the cop, and the military man. These weren't just fun outfits, they were coded symbols within gay culture. When they sang about the YMCA in 1978, they created a masterpiece of double meaning. To mainstream audiences, it was an upbeat song about a place to exercise and stay. But for gay men, YMCAs were known meeting places where they could connect with each other. Macarthur Park, Donna Summer's epic of emotional resilience. In 1978, Donna Summer took Richard Harris's strange ballad about a cake left out in the rain and transformed it into a 17-minute disco epic. This wasn't just another dance track, it was an emotional journey from heartbreak to healing that showed what disco could really be. Summer was fighting for respect after Love to Love You Baby, with its controversial moaning, had pigeonholed her as just a symbol. Macarthur Park gave her a chance to show her real vocal power. The song broke all the disco rules with its orchestral sections, tempo changes, and emotional depth. This ambitious recording crowned Summer the queen of disco and proved the genre could tell complex emotional stories. You Make Me Feel Mighty Real, Sylvester's declaration of authentic identity. When Sylvester arrived on the disco scene in 1978, he refused to water himself down. As an openly gay, gender-fluid black artist who started singing in church, he brought a raw gospel power to the dance floor that nobody else had. When he sang, "You Make Me Feel Mighty Real," it wasn't just about romance. It was about those rare moments when you can be completely yourself without hiding. His falsetto vocals cut through the artificial sounds of disco, bringing genuine emotion to every note. Today, this anthem of authenticity plays at pride celebrations worldwide, with Sylvester's unapologetic identity opening doors for generations of artists who refuse to compromise who they are. Got to Be Real, Cheryl Lynn's journey from TV, contestant to disco queen. Before Cheryl Lynn became a disco legend, she was a contestant on The Gong Show in 1976. Her powerful version of You Are So Beautiful earned her a perfect score, but even with that undeniable talent, the music industry didn't know what to do with her. Despite her incredible voice, Lynn struggled to find her place until disco came along. When Got to Be Real hit in 1978, her gospel-trained vocals finally had the perfect home. This anthem of keeping it real became her signature song and remains one of the most sampled disco tracks ever, proving that authenticity never goes out of style. Shake Your Groove Thing, Peaches and Herb's celebration of bodily freedom. Peaches and Herb weren't newcomers when they hit the disco scene in 1978. They'd already made their mark as a sweet soul duo back in the 1960s, but by the time Shake Your Groove Thing arrived, everything had changed, including Peaches herself. Linda Green had replaced the original Marlene Mack, bringing a bold new energy that matched the changing times. Together with Herb fame, they created a song about physical liberation that went beyond just dancing. When they urged listeners to shake your groove thing, they were really inviting people, especially women, to break free from social constraints about how they should move their bodies. This celebration of bodily freedom became an anthem for women claiming their right to express themselves physically without judgment. Last Dance, Donna Summer's Bittersweet, anthem of fleeting joy. Donna Summer recorded Last Dance for the movie Thank God It's Friday in 1978, capturing everything about a night at the disco in one perfect song. When Summer sang I Need You by me, beside me, to guide me, she wasn't just talking about romance. She was speaking to the importance of finding your people during difficult times, especially for LGBTQ+ folks facing discrimination everywhere else. But there's that bittersweet quality. The last dance always had to end. The temporary freedom of the disco made it even more precious to communities who knew these safe spaces were just brief escapes from a hostile world. Take That to the Bank, Shalimar's anthem of economic empowerment. Shalimar's origin story captures the true spirit of disco. They weren't music industry insiders. They were dancers discovered on Soul Train, regular people who found success through pure talent. It was the ultimate disco dream come true. Their 1978 hit, Take That to the Bank, wasn't just a catchy tune. When they repeated that banking metaphor, they were talking about something deeper, knowing your value in every part of life. It wasn't just about romance, it was about self-worth. This message of valuing yourself hit home for Black audiences during a time when economic uncertainty and discrimination were everyday realities. Shalimar showed that ordinary people could succeed through talent and determination. These 10 songs from 1978 were never just about shiny disco balls. They created spaces where people found their power. Gloria Gaynor showed how to survive. A Taste of Honey proved women belonged in the industry. The Village People celebrated gay culture in plain sight. When disco faced intense backlash in the 1980s, these songs survived because their messages of resilience and authenticity mattered too much to disappear. Next time you hear these tracks at a wedding or party, listen closely. That thumping beat at 120 beats per minute isn't just catchy music, it's the sound of a revolution.